guys, it's xoxo with Immerse Photography, and today we're going to be talking about photographing the moon. Now, when I teach my classes, we like to call this shooting the moon. I don't know about you, but my family plays a lot of cards, and every once in a while someone would go for shooting the moon, and it was always this outlandish thing, and they would try to hit a certain score, and no one thought they could do it, and when they did, they looked like a complete and utter rock star. So my hope for you today is that after watching this tutorial, you can make a rock star moon picture that you can put on Facebook, and your friends are like, oh my gosh, you're so talented. So that's what we're hoping for. So the first thing that we need to talk about is what kind of gear and knowledge do you need to have before attempting this. I'm going to recommend that you have a DSLR, otherwise known as a big girl camera. You can have a point and shoot, but it needs to be one that you can change all of the settings on, the manual settings, the ISO, the aperture, the shutter speed. You need to be able to change all of those things. And if you can, your point and shoot will work for this experiment. The other things that you're going to need is a good, decent lens. Now, most of you, when you buy your camera, it comes with a basic kit lens, and then they also give you, or you can also buy, they don't give it to you, you can buy a big zoom lens. So I just have the kit lens that I got when I got my very first camera. Nothing fancy, it's a 55 to 200, and I know that from the numbers on the front here. Basically, you want to get the lens that you have that has the biggest zoom. So if you're taking pictures of your kid on the soccer field, like grab the lens that's going to let you zoom in the closest. That's what we're going to need for shooting the moon. So you need all of those things, and you're also going to need a tripod because shooting the moon is a little bit tricky. You wouldn't think so, but there's a lot of factors that play into it. One, we're here on the Earth, and the Earth, although very slowly, it is rotating. And because the moon is so far away, that little bit of rotation makes a big difference in that long distance. The other thing that's playing in is the moon itself is orbiting the Earth, so it's rotating, or not rotating, but it's revolving around the Earth. So you have the Earth rotating and the moon revolving. And that motion, exaggerated over thousands of miles, is going to make a really big difference. So you're going to want to make sure that you have a tripod so that those are the only two things moving and that your body isn't adding to that wiggle. No wiggles. So definitely grab a tripod. Now the next thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to start by getting your big zoom lens on your camera, and you're going to want to zoom it out as far as it will go. So I usually put it, for this lens, it would be out to 200. So I'm going to zoom it out as far as I can, and then I'm going to set my aperture, and this is also known as f-stop. So you're going to see weird numbers like 5.6, 4, 2.8, 11, these bizarre numbers. That's your f-stop. So you're going to want to set your f-stop somewhere between 5.6 and 11, depending upon the gear that you have. I'm going to recommend the smallest number possible. And what that small number is going to do is it's going to give you a wide open aperture, and that's going to let a lot of light come through. Now, that's technical stuff, and if that confuses you, don't worry about it. Just look for the lowest number you can get. 5.6 is generally where you're going to be. Now, once you've set your aperture, then I want you to look at your ISO. Now, back in the old school days when we used to go to the store and buy film, most of us would buy like 200 speed or 400 speed, and if you were feeling crazy, you got like 800 or 1600. You didn't even know why. Well, film speed basically is the same thing as ISO, and that generally refers to how fast your camera, or in those days film, could capture the light. And in this case, we wanted to capture light very quickly, so we want to set our ISO to about 200 to even a 400 range. And what we're going to do is that's going to be our starting point. Now the thing with photography is there's a lot of rules, and there's a lot of should and shouldn'ts, but a lot of it is trial and error, and that's what we're going to be doing today. So I want you to set your aperture to 5.6, set your ISO to 200 or 400, somewhere in there. And then the one thing that we're going to play a lot with tonight is with our shutter speed. Now you notice that I said tonight, and if you look around me right now, it's obviously not tonight. Well, here's the reason I chose to shoot this video during the day. The reason that we can actually see the moon in the sky is because the sun is shining on it. Even though it's night here on Earth, we're facing the moon, and the reason we can actually see that moon is it's because it's lit up by the sun. So I chose to shoot this in the daytime just to remind you that the light on the moon is going to be very similar to the light we have right now. And in fact, what you might even want to do is the day before you go to take your full moon picture, go out in the yard on a sunny day. That's key. It has to be bright and sunny. And kind of set your settings. You know, take a picture, set your ISO to 200 or 400, set your aperture to 5.6, and then look at your light meter and take a picture. If I were you, I would aim it towards the bright green grass or something that's a really neutral gray. Those are going to give you your best readings. And look at the light there and set your shutter speed accordingly. In my case, the best scenario that I found is an ISO of 250, an aperture of 5.6, and a shutter speed of 800. So what I would do is I would go home, take a picture during the daytime, keep those settings either locked into my camera or written down on a Post-it note. I actually had one sitting here on the table and it blew away, so mine's somewhere, but write it down on a Post-it note so you remember. Then when you go out to shoot the moon, get your settings set to those things that you got on your Post-it and let that be your starting point. Once you've taken your first picture, you're gonna wanna play it back and look at it. So hit the play button on the back of your camera, and then on my camera, on Nikon's, and I'm pretty sure you can do the same thing on Canon's, you can actually zoom into the picture and see it enlarged, and that's highly, highly recommended. Because if you just take a picture on like the average setting or the automatics, your moon is just gonna be a bright white ball in the sky, and what we're looking for is detail on the moon. So zoom into your picture and look and see, can you see detail, or is it still like this fuzzy white blob? And if it is, you need to start to change your settings. So try it out, experiment with different things. So I want you to do 3 things for me. Number 1, drop the worry and don't take yourself so seriously. This is fun, you guys. You're shooting the moon. Who doesn't love that? And you're gonna look awesome on Facebook. So number 1, drop any worries you have and just go for it. See what happens. If you make mistakes, just delete it. That's why God made the delete button. No big deal. So delete any mistakes, drop the worry. Number 2, if you get a great picture, email it to me or post it on my Facebook wall at Immerse Photography and tell me, hey, I took your tutorial and I tried it out and look what I got. I love celebrating little victories for you. I love it when people learn how to turn their flash off and on the first time, or they learn how to manually focus. I love those little victories. So no matter where you are in your journey, if you get a great picture, share it with me. I love to see it. And number 3, if you liked this video, and I hope that you did, I want you to push down here. There's 2 little thumbs up. I hope you give me a thumbs up, but give me a rating down there so I know what you thought of this video. And if you really liked it and you want more accessible and easy user-friendly photography videos, there's even a button down here where you can follow my video links. Right now there's only a handful up, but I'm getting geared up to put lots of them out there. I can't wait to enjoy this journey with you. I hope you have a fun time shooting the moon and show me those pictures. I'll see you later.